Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Saturday Night Sci-Fi Shadow Chat. I would say a welcome to my buddy Justin, but uh, he's doing something. He'll be right back in just a moment. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I have an echo here. That's weird. I had it on two different things. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. I just got out of a great game with the OGGM, our good friend Cal, RPG Grandma, and Mike and Jen from Married with Gaming. If you guys haven't checked out any of their channels, what are you guys doing with your lives? Actually, I don't think Cal has a channel, but to be honest, I think everybody out there should have their own channel, uh, just so they can, see what it's like and, make some new friends. So, how's everybody out there doing? As you might have seen from the title, at some point during the evening, we're going to talk about holograms and sci-fi RPGs. How you doing, Justin?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
Not
luck on
shitty.
that.
What?
Good luck on that.
I was going to say not shitty, not crappy. Um,
No. Good luck on getting to the topic.
okay, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. Hey, Hungar, bro.
No shit, Hungar. How you been, man? Did you get my message earlier? Mercurius, welcome to the show. Hungar, if you want to pop in and just say hi, you're not allowed anymore. Um, I'm just kidding. You haven't heard of Married with Gaming? Yeah, we did a one-on-one a while back. Believe it or not, they're the only YouTubers out there that I've actually ever met in person. They won the big old Tarrasque model from our 500 sub giveaway, and they live in California, and instead of me mailing it out to them, they decided to take a 2.5 hour drive out from where they live to where I live and pick it up in person. And we chatted for honestly about 2.5 hours. And then they drove home, and I'm still waiting to see it put together and painted up. I would have that on my coffee table if I had a coffee table, but just it's just such a cool ass model. I'm glad to hear that, Hungar. Well, yeah, it was amazing of them. It wasn't just nice. I mean, they could have let me, you know, waste my time and going to the post office and wrapping it up and, you know, shelling out another $15, which, I did for everybody else. I mailed their stuff out, but they figured, what the heck, let's go and meet this weirdo. And it was awesome. And they're great people. They're great gamers. They love all the gaming stuff. They're one of those legendary gaming couples that do like all the gaming stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had any girlfriends, Justin, who were gamers?
Not since high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
it's kind of not high school, but college. But yeah, it's been a long time since but it's kind of not fair a comparison because back in those days, uh, I was also in a band, and I'm not saying they were groupies or anything, but there was that kind of thing. They weren't gamers before, and I guarantee they weren't gamers afterwards. But like our good friend Jade, his wife, they're gamer couples, and I know there's a few out there. I think RPG Grandma and her husband are gamers, but it's kind of a rare thing. I think. What's up, RPG Dad? So I
Howdy.
a little jealous. Just gonna say that having a significant other that digs this. I love Justin's high energy. Okay, yeah. Justin's an acquired taste, and
Yeah. I'm a morose motherfucker.
I don't know about that. Sometimes you're downright
Pleasant.
somber.
Sometimes I'm somber. I'm surprised you know what that word is.
Are you kidding? The Spanish word of it is my namesake. So, but
Your namesake?
hey, Cal. Hello, Gainey. Yeah, I am so sorry, guys, that I had to cut out early from the game, but family stuff that
Yeah, I
needed
might
taken
have to do
care
that
of.
tonight.
Well, we're not going to be here, like 5 hours like the other night. Raven, if you want to pop in, you got the link. Cal, anybody,
I
any of
don't
you,
think I don't think telling everybody that the link is in general under your Discord will be effective for Raven.
it's okay. I actually sent her the link through Messenger. I
Uh,
nipped that potential issue in the freaking bud. But yeah, I don't know if you.
Shadow is a lot more kinder to Raven than I am. I don't let her get away with not being able to find things on the 3 things she's connected to on Discord.
Yeah, well, she's not a big fan of Discord, and I think her devices are less of a fan of Discord. Did you
Yeah,
catch OG's live stream this afternoon?
no, I
Uh,
don't.
you know,
I don't
watch
think
her.
I'm subscribed to OG.
He is a very exuberant DM. He has
Hmm.
got a very uh, cheerful gaming style, very casual, and he's a happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah.
Uh, but I was having a freaking blast.
So
In
he
the
ran a game live on his show this
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah, yeah. Anticipating a couple of who's to come in and tear it apart. And to be honest, don't give a flying frick. We were there to have fun. I didn't even know we were live for the first hour. You know, we had talked about it, and he just like I guess did it, and my freaking ditzy brain didn't even pay attention. Just having fun. It was just a good.
Yeah, so
Uh,
that's why for the first hour you're dropping hard R's every 20 seconds.
No, 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 no. I did give a couple of these for Condor and Shauner should they come in and want to, pick it apart.
Yeah.
I have no time for killjoys. People are out there, having fun. Maybe it's not perfect under the new rules of role playing, but you know what? For 40 plus years, that's
Well,
the way people did it.
the only people that actually put rules down are fucking lefties who want you to be idealistic during the game.
Mm,
You know.
well, no, getting teed off about the mother may eyes and stuff like that. I get it. I've been there. I played with Rick numerous times.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a little harder to play by their social contract, but
Yeah.
that's all it is. It's a social contract that people have developed and agreed upon for what they particularly want at the game. Just as
Yeah.
um, OG and Cal and Grandma and everybody, we agreed that the first rule was, we were going to have fun. Second rule is going to be Gonzo, which means anything goes.
Yeah.
We had dinosaurs and wizards and spaceships all in the same, game world. And uh, we took on some rat men tonight and did some goofy shit. But for the most part, I think everybody, played their character really well, and
Mhm.
not everybody was trying to play some uh, superstar character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except
Um
me, of course, because I'm
like
the control freak and
yeah.
had to tell everybody what to do. A cyborg does not have fun. You know what,
Beep
Cal?
beep boop boop.
I'm pretty sure 44 was satisfied with his performance.
Mhm. Um I understand that. The problem with the Mother May Eyes is it becomes a crutch for people who are just fucking too lazy to play the game
Well,
really quickly.
with me,
Uh,
what I don't like is when people ask, can they do things uh,
yeah,
that they wouldn't know whether or not they can do it. It's like, can I pole vault that chasm? You don't. How would you know that? You could try,
Yeah.
but can I see this or can I see that? That's
Or
just how, you know what I
what's
mean?
in that box? Well, go check.
Right. You
Go
know,
fucking check what's. Go try the door to see if you can open it. Don't
right,
ask me.
right,
Don't
it-
ask him.
right.
I don't want to hear it as another player at the table. Like it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, yeah. And you've heard me in my game. You know,
Yeah.
the only way to find out is to try. But you know, if
No,
I've
no.
neglected to
I've heard me tell that to the other players in your game while you just sit there quietly.
really,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
A
thought
few times you
I've
have
gone over
fired.
that. You know, I don't always want to like devolve into that. Rather just
Yeah.
move on. Sometimes it's just easier to or I'll just say no. You know,
Yeah.
instead of go into the freaking minute speech of you know
Yeah.
grab some dice, give it a try, or continue pondering maybe a better way to go about the situation. But
Mhm.
if I've neglected to describe something and people are asking, what color is this, or can I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
anybody through the trees, that kind of thing. It's hard to think in that. What was his
But
name?
at the same time, if you don't mention the color of the wall, it's because it's not an important detail. So if you just state a color, that's what
Well,
color it is,
right,
right?
unless
Like
unless
unless
it's
it's important.
right. I was going to say,
But then still, like if it was important, you would have said it.
what's up, TCG? Right. But uh, I had a really good time. It's
Yeah.
I noticed something that about OG. He's really uh, he's really just happy to be gaming to the point that it just really is infectious. And I've played with him side by
Raven,
side in a
I'm
bunch of games.
always Oscar the Grouch. Like, don't say like just because I shaved and dyed my hair doesn't mean I'm not Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi planet with a bunch of the
Hmm.
players having come through a time displacement to a world where his cyborg crashed on the planet over 2 years ago, and the local countryside has been taking his starship apart and building their shanty town with it.
And Raven, get in here. Where are you?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how to find things. You know how to
yeah.
click buttons. You know how to say beep beep boop boop.
Beep beep boop boop. Okay, more like Eeyore. Oh damn, you're more like
Hey,
Eeyore, Justin.
hey, leave my cousin out of this.
I know,
Eeyore.
Cal. I can tell that you are enjoying the hell out of yourself. Um, and I'm really, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm really uh, intrigued and surprised at the kind of character you decided to play. I kind of pictured you, playing some sort of swashbuckling pirate or something like that. I don't know. Does that seem weird?
What's he playing? The cyborg?
He's playing a very, stiff, you know, not quite Mr. Spock cyborg. I kind of picture him like that character from the Guardians of the Galaxy, the big strong guy, but without
Mm.
that sense of humor and more intelligent, but kind of the
Oh,
very stoic, no nonsense kind of guy.
what's his
But you're
name?
doing a bang up job, dude. And how about Grandma? She is great. She's one of the all-time greats. She's playing the equivalent, the flying nun, although she can't fly yet. A Catholic nun, ripped out of World War II. Her character and mine were in our jeep on our way to get her to Dunkirk because she had to catch a boat or a plane or something, and somehow along the
Maybe
way,
a train or an automobile.
yeah, uh, nice movie reference. And somehow along the way, we went through some weird fog or something, and we ended up on this strange world with dinosaurs and wizards and cyborgs and spaceships and giant rat men and things like
Ooh,
that.
Ratman.
And I'm playing the typical. I keep forgetting the guy's name. I based him off the character from Wonder Woman, her love interest, that captain.
Mhm.
From
Hal
uh,
Jordan.
no, not Hal Jordan. That's the Green Lantern. Grandma is
Uh,
hysterical and historical.
Clark
Yes,
Kent.
Dunkirk, right? And she's just
Yeah, I know who it was. It was Bruce Wayne.
right. No, I want to say his last name was Rogers, like Steve Rogers, Captain America, but I don't know if that's correct. But I just based him off of that. World War II captain that's not Captain
Wonder
America.
Woman.
To be honest, he's actually a little bit more like Nick Fury, cigar smoking, shadow playing Wonder Woman. Steve Gordon, is that what it was?
Uh,
Yeah, I'm playing Roger Landis, cigar
Steve
smoking,
Trevor.
no nonsense, career military. Everything I could have never and would have never been.
Chris Pratt from the first Wonder Woman movie. That guy's character.
I never saw that. God, she's freaking Hungar.
Yeah, it
He's
was
such
Steve
a
Trevor.
kid. Oh, Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's that character, the one
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
fought with her.
Just picture him. Needing a shave, smoking a cigar. Uh, a little more gruff, but definitely gung ho.
I much
And
prefer. What's his name from Baywatch?
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff. He was the best.
You think so? You think so? Okay.
He
George
was the best.
Papard, just a lot younger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He,
I'm
he was
honestly
the
actually.
best. He was the best Nick Fury.
I'm also. I got my fake cigar, and I'm looking
Oh,
for
I gotta get one of those,
what
or just some cigars.
I would, but I can't smoke upstairs because I don't smoke in the house. And it was just funny. But yeah, I would prefer like a smaller, Nick Fury kind of,
Yeah.
half smoked cigar. But I'm looking for the Air Force Air Command cap, so I can wear that, just fully just goof off and get into character. I don't expect grandma to go get the flying nun hat, but oh my god, how funny would that be? You
Fake
know,
cigar.
I really like. I know it's goofy, guys, but Jackie brought it out in me. Dressing up a little when you're playing, especially on camera. Watching a bunch of fat old guys in t-shirts like myself. It's not as fun. And I've seen some halfway decent online games where people have dressed up and had cool backgrounds and stuff like that. I mean, if you're gonna waste your time listening to us play a game instead of playing a game on your own, I think the least we can do is dress it up a little, church it up a little, and try to give you something to look at, you know, instead of just a bunch of old grognards from California. I know, right? Can you
Yeah.
imagine? I would chip in. I'd start a collection, if she'd wear the Flying Nun hat. Do you remember that show?
I've seen clips from it.
Yeah, Sally Field was great.
They used to have her flying around on the screen during the opening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's now got cleric magic powers and
Did that cigar come in a pack of 4?
no, I got this from Spirit, the Halloween store, a couple of
Okay.
years back, and it's got two different settings, like one that stays on and one you got to push it so it lights up. It's kind of
Is it
cool.
easy enough to push that you can do it with your tongue?
Exactly.
Okay. That's good.
You guys are even lucky. I put a shirt on when you go online. Yeah, well, that stick's already been taken by Raggy, so
Yeah, that's why I
hopefully we're
was
not
late.
all fatties. Hey, speak for yourself. I got like easily like 50 pounds I want to drop, but then I'd be too skinny, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather be too skinny than too heavy. And Mike Dimart, he's playing Dave, a 24-year-old kid from 2024, a Home Depot worker who found some magical books in his uncle's storage bin that he inherited and accidentally read one. And next thing he knows, he's in OGGM's world, and his wife Jen is playing a Cyberpunk 2024 elf What's up, Doc?
Okay.
Doc, you want to join us and talk about holograms at some point? You know where the link is in the general in my Discord. Yeah, you know what? That miss. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. I misread what you said there, Doc.
What?
Oh, you're going to bed already? You're such a party pooper, Hungar. You better be like three sheets to the wind and barely able to stand. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Hungar. What happened to the days where we would play video games from 3 in the morning to 1 past to 1 o'clock the next day? Huh? What happened to those times? You know, we used to play video games, you and I, for 22 hours a day,
I
and
remember
then
those
you
days.
you
I
would
remember
get up.
seeing you guys on Discord, doing the thing,
Yeah,
playing Conan Exiles and doing
yeah,
horrible atrocities throughout the digital world.
yeah, and you get up the next day and go, "You're still awake?" And I'd be, "Yep." We'll do that for 8 days straight before you need to sleep. What happened to that, bro? Where have you gone? We miss you. He's probably not
He's not
even.
wrong. He's not wrong. Jackie's been asking about you. Now that he's on vacation, he's hoping to see at least once a week or something. Uh, yeah, it's not even 7 here. Yeah,
It's 10 o'clock here, so. And I think he's still in the same time zone as me.
yeah. You know what? I actually played a video game for the first time in. Well, I'm actually playing a video game on my tablet, but it's nothing like playing with your bros. I'm playing with Jackie, Alex, and Alex's sister. We're playing the Gauntlet from PlayStation 4. There's Doc, and we all feel
Doc,
retarded.
Hey, everybody.
We
any,
can't get past this one level we've played, and just
Doc's also got his electronic cigarette.
right, but his actually does something. Mine just lights up.
Yeah.
It might mean it's broken.
So how you doing, Doc?
Hanging in.
Yeah, you getting any gaming in?
I am still without a group, but I am working on my project. So I am.
What do you want to do? Game, GM, or play?
I would prefer to play because I've been out for a long time. So I need to be.
Yeah, that's when I started doing the YouTube thing. I had it. Well, I still have a group, but we don't get together as much as we used to. But that's what I did. I jumped right in as a player because I started learning all these new terms and phrases and ways of doing things. And I'll admit, I learned a lot. I was playing with the same group for almost 30 years. A nice big group of people, none of which were GMs. None of them had ever even dreamed or thought of GMing. Some of my players didn't even own books, and they'd been playing for decades. They got their character. That's all that mattered.
Owning books is for suckers.
They had their characters in that Peachy from the 80s. They're still playing, and it's really good to get behind or you get in front of the GM screen when you're getting back into it. And of course, this whole circle of friends we have, they're all professional GMs and got their own ways of doing things, and I think it really gives you a good perspective because I was playing in a couple of games that admittedly were not good, and it helped me realize why I got into GMing instead of playing in the very beginning. I played like one game and I instantly knew I wanted to be the GM, not the players, because my GM was just, I mean, mind you, he was 14. I was 13. He didn't know what the frick he was doing. Had the whole adversarial attitude, trying to kill us off, thinking that was his job, like he was getting a paycheck for it, and you learn a lot by playing with, I'm going to say it, a higher caliber group of players, people who do this not just like once a week, but want to do it any chance they can get. It is their main hobby.
It's not your job to kill off the the players, but at the same time, it's not your job to protect them either.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I almost took out both
Yeah.
Grimm's characters in one fell swoop last week. It's like, gotta be more careful, guys, because I will, provide the consequences commensurate with the action. If you fail a roll and you're 100 feet up on a rope, expect those 10d6. Just saying.
Well, that's why I demanded we do that spike thing to diminish. It was supposed to diminish.
Right. And admittedly, rolling down 100 foot of pyramid wouldn't be as deadly as falling 100 straight feet. I actually fell 60
Ain't gonna
feet
tickle,
with my
though.
rope rappelling once, and I literally would have been dead myself. But I had hit about halfway down. I hit an embankment that allowed me to roll instead of just full dead drop.
So you know what I was aiming at, repelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta find the right people. I played basically with over 20 years, played with 3 groups on and off, back and forth, depending on where I was living. But I must have played 1 or 2 sessions with like 100 groups. Because you just go in like, okay, no, this is not for me.
Yeah. And I learned,
find the right people.
I learned some of the most valuable lessons I learned in the last couple of years were, understanding what the players are there for. Each one, not assuming they all want the exact same thing. If someone's playing a wizard, they want to do wizard stuff.
Yeah.
If they're playing a thief, they want to do that thief stuff, that cool thief stuff, or that cool wizard stuff, not just the same generic, kind of situation that everybody's, like it tries to, find the least common denominator and go, okay, this is it. No, you've got to kind of make up those moments for everybody to shine, or put in obstacles that are not tailor made, but it would be best if so and so tried to do this as opposed to somebody else.
I'm personally of the opinion that you got to make the world like open for the players to create those situations more than create them for them.
Here's the thing: the world itself, yes, but the individual places in the world are going to be the way they should be. You know what I mean? Like the pyramids that you guys were in. That was meant to do a certain thing. You know what I mean? You weren't going to find a shop in there. You weren't going to find a tavern. It was a pyramid meant to house dead people. I would put in unlike real pyramids, but anyways, it was meant to house dead people and old information. But over time, someone moved in and decided to make it their home. What's that going to be like?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. If you go into a dungeon and it's a mine, like today, Cal and I were in a series of caves, it should look and feel like a mine with caves and stalactites and all the things you'd expect.
Stalagmites.
Them too, and of course you should have giant rats, and yeah, and talking giant rats from The Secret of Nim, and all the other things. I mean, if you're in a mine, you should expect to be able to find a shovel and a pick. Maybe
I don't like this Nim guy, and I don't care about his secret. He can go fuck himself.
Yeah, I was kind of perplexed why we didn't just put a bullet in his head when we found this Secret of Nim rat all chained up by his fellow rats. I'm like, another giant rat. That's what I wanted to do, but I could tell everybody else was like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Because my character isn't like, evil, bloodthirsty murder hobo.
Yeah, but even the other giant rats hated him.
That's exactly it. They did. Had it been, something else, I wouldn't have hesitated. My character, I should say, wouldn't have hesitated to just pop a cap in him and let's move on. But
man, you're very evil, Shadow. Just randomly killing poor innocent giant rats, just living their lives.
I only have so much cheese, and it's definitely not enough to go around. But yeah, it's when you find your group, Doc. Just remember, it's not the same group you're familiar with, and you know, get a feel for everyone and everything before you go all,
What happened to your old group?
Oh, we just parted ways. I've been out of it for a long time. I picked up a couple pickup games here and there, but we just kind of like moved around,
Yeah,
and everybody fell out of touch eventually.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that
is one
happens.
of the if not the worst thing about the hobby, is that some folks do move on in more than one way, uh,
Yeah, and
and
this was like before online play was even an option, so it was kind of
Hmm.
like, and that's the thing. It's one of those hobbies. It's really time intensive. You need people who are like really into it.
you know what? I actually today I actually bumped into someone. I was wearing a different shirt. I was wearing my Dungeon Master Guide T-shirt. I walked into Burger King, and the guy said, pointed his finger and was like, "Love your T-shirt, man." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what? No way, you're a D&D player?" And I would have done the usual thing, but Jackie was with me there, and if I start talking about the channel in public, he's like, "I don't know this guy. I'm out of here." You know. Um, but I said, I was just in a game 5 minutes ago. He was like, "Awesome! I play once a week, and maybe I'll bump into him again, and next time, say, hey, what do you play? But I've been here 13 years. It's first adult that I've met that actually plays D&D. But of course, he was a ginger.
These things happen. Yeah, I was hoping
He
to
seemed like a
Evil.
decent dude.
in-person game.
That's
Typical.
not true. That is not true. I will vehemently disagree with you. He did not seem like a decent dude. He was a fucking ginger.
Anyway, well, even though he was a ginger, he was kind of your typical, chubby, bearded, clearly a gamer looking guy. But he's working at Burger King, so how good a gamer can he be? He should have been at least able to find you know, uh, I don't know. Then again, it's California, and they make more than freaking, you know, well, they make a lot of
Yeah,
money.
I was looking into starting an in-person game around here, but the nearest place is like Lake City. It's like a good hour away. Plus, the groups were all like people who are like 15 to 20 years younger than me, and I was kind of like, I kind of want to find older people. So I was like, I'll just have to find something online.
Yeah, you know what?
Eventually want to run the new game when it's finished, but in the meantime, I definitely want to play as a player in a couple things for a while before I try to get back into that because it's a lot of work and you can get rusty real quick. I've had plenty of time to get rusty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Online is not as bad as people make it out to be. I honestly think a lot of the pros outweigh the cons. You know,
Yeah, people definitely are more focused when they're playing online. That is
right?
one big benefit I've noticed to it
You,
because
you,
everybody's kind of
you
like,
you're not going to get the camaraderie level. You're still going to get it, but you're not going to get the uh, you know involvement in your other parts of your life as much. That takes a while. I'm in a group that's been together for almost 2 years, and I don't know that much about them. I know a little, from deductive reasoning, watching what's going on in their world screen view sort of thing. But if I was in town, would I say, hey, or if they were in town, hey, come on and visit, kind of thing? Maybe, but maybe not. More maybe not than maybe. Um, if I was in town and they said, hey, make sure you stop by, I would, I'd take it up, but I definitely wouldn't be spending the night. I don't like doing that. If I'm in a strange place, I'm
yeah.
getting a hotel. Uh, just doing that. Just,
Yeah.
you
Definitely, if I were in town, you'd be like, "Stay the fuck away."
Yeah.
no,
Plus,
I'd say get a hotel, and lunch is at X, and otherwise, prior to that, I
I
wouldn't.
don't want you knowing where I live.
No. I gave you my mailing address, even though it's not my
we'll
mailing
meet you in the
address.
woods. We'll blindfold you, spin you around a few times, put you in the trunk.
It's okay. I know how to track. after that. So I took the course on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is this
Taught
group
a course
was
in that.
playing
So,
5e, and I had like zero interest in that.
What?
I still have that comment up. What
This
a
new group that I almost joined, they were a 5e group, and I was like, I have no desire to learn that, let alone buy all that material. It's like, if I'm going to play D&D, it's going to be 1e.
Hey, what's up,
That's
Joe?
what I know. Or
I
one of the
suspect that's not really you, Joe, but yeah, we could have just left him, and he's blind too. So, you know what? I missed all the valuable information. I will have to watch the last 15 minutes. You know, I was going to say, hey, Grandma, that is one of the pros about gaming online is you do meet people who really want a game, as opposed to some of those people we used to hang out with that were just there for the the free munchies and soda and something to do on a Monday through Monday night kind of sort of fair weather friends you might or might not have had, which I most certainly had people like that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma's here to spy on us on Holy Ones. And
Sounds like me.
Grandma, you want the link? You know where it is. I don't know how you're feeling. I hope you're feeling better, and you didn't tire out your non-flying arms.
Ooh, non-flying arms. Yeah, I don't know. People have heard my story about leaving the game after bad DM experience for a while there. Then, like I say, I've been out for about 20 years, but because it was the early 2000s, right? But like you, Doc, just pickup games here. I don't count those because I wasn't in.
You just get better for next session, Grandma, or next week if you want to join us. Yeah, I've had some bad sessions online, but I no fingers or names or anything, but
I name people. You're the fault. This guy was the reason.
It's usually the system, not the group. But sometimes it can be that. I've been in some great games. I've been in some great one shots that I would not necessarily drop everything to go back to, but I would definitely.
What systems?
I absolutely despise Pathfinder, fifth edition.
Too bloated.
3.5. What?
Too bloated. It's got too much going on.
I agree with that. It's just needless complication layered on itself, and it's just. I mean, Pathfinder wants to be a video game.
Well, it has a video game.
Yeah, that's the thing. You might as well play the video game. I mean, even that, I have one of those.
I hope you
even
feel
that
better, Grandma. You were great today. In 47 years, I've never gotten to play or run much, but I've been dedicated because I know it can be so much fun. Absolutely. This is one of the weirdest hobbies there is out there, but it's one of the most rewarding on like every level. I know a lot of the same things could be said about other hobbies, but we have shared experiences that are far different than anything you can actually have on Earth. Unless you're hanging out with the richest of the rich, the most famous, and you get to go to those eyes wide shut parties, which I don't recommend. You really don't. I mean, you don't get to fight dragons. You don't get to fly in spaceships and do all the things that nobody could really do just yet, except for the Men in Black. They get to do all the cool shit. You don't get to
especially
really
the rock monsters from Regulon 7 or wherever that planet was. It was a Captain Kirk ship.
Oh yes, Cal, Grandma, we were talking about it. I'm going to get the Army cap for playing on Saturdays.
You want a cheesy one, right? You don't want you don't want a good one. You want just like a really cheesy clownish Army cap.
Well, the 1940s, officer cap. I used to have a GI helmet and some of the other stuff, which I might swap back and forth if I can get them cheap. But Grandma, do you? Is it in your budget or your ability to to find a flying nun hat, because I'm telling you, if you need help, you just say the word. Is seeing that on camera, especially if OG doesn't know, if we could all like show up one game and we're all like decked out, he would freaking die. You know what I'm saying? Just can you picture that? He's ready to game, and then he does the thing, and everybody shows up at one. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody's in costume. That's when you've got a great group. My son, when he plays with his friends, he played yesterday, first day of vacation. He and the boys and girls got together and played a game of fifth edition. Not gonna knock it because that's what kids are playing. And a ruler. And he's now got a new Viking helmet, had a couple of medieval helmets, and a crown. He brought all the, because he just did a play Macbeth at school. So the GM asked him to bring all the props. The last time they were here, the DM arrived at my doorstep in a Grim Reaper black robe. One of the girls had on a weird costume.
Shadow, I just sent you a link to one of those hats off of Amazon.
Awesome.
Now it's Amazon Canada, so it's like $33.
There's no fat on that joke. I'll put on a yellow nylon over my head and paint it red for burns on one side. Okay. I was thinking just looking for like a skull cap with like a an eye thing that flaps over or something. It might be metric. And Mike, all he has to do is just go find a Home Depot apron. He's good to go. Jen, get some fake pointy ears, and she's good to go. And
Oh, we got our 100 comments
already. Cool. Why didn't I see that?
It's at the top of the restream thing.
Not seeing it.
Oh, well, I just saw it.
Huh. Cool.
It's right under
everybody.
Doc.
I appreciate it. Something I was meaning to talk about with you, Justin. I'll talk about it here. I noticed, and not just for me, but other people, and that's how I noticed it. I was watching somebody, and I'm like, it's been like 24 hours or X, and views are down for everybody. And I'm not sure if that's a summer thing or
probably.
or something else. I could see how it could be something else. What that could be, I don't know. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It's Saturday night. A lot of circles. It's date night, and you guys are here hanging out with us weirdos, talking about weird shit.
Because we're all very sad.
I don't know about you, man. I am in a great mood. I had a good game. I had hamburger for dinner. That's always a bonus.
Wrong kind of sad. We had chili.
Oh, we mean we're pitiful? Yeah.
Chili tonight. It was chili.
Chili sounds good. I have not had good chili in forever. The only chili I've had has been out of a can for the last year.
No. There's a pot of it on the stove. I might go down and steal another bowl.
Yeah. Jackie is weird. He's Mexican, but he doesn't like beans in his chili.
They literally call them beaners for a reason.
That's suspicious. I think
I know.
And it's a descriptive of their primary national export for like 100 years.
Other than citizens.
No. Back then they weren't coming over the borders so much.
Yeah.
When that was the thing.
Yeah, I get that, Cal, but I was watching some people who I consider, not better than me, but they've got bigger channels, by bigger subscribers, and their numbers are like, what the frick? I would quit, I'd be like, what the hell? I mean, control freak,
Yeah, you're petty that way.
Yeah, very, very, very. And those are my good points. It just, it would bum me out. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I was thinking, it could be summer. It could be, doing like I do, watching new stuff from time to time. I always you know, my you know, my really good friends, I watch their stuff. You know, to show them support and you know, to give them a hard time. It's bummed because Justin doesn't give me the opportunity to do that except in person.
Yeah.
Because he's
Well,
always there.
you
Every video I do, he's there critiquing it. It's like, you suck. What are you doing? Why are you even on YouTube? You complete waste of space.
well, you see, I have my Discord, Bone Spears and Starships, and I have your channel set to automatically alert me on that every time you go live or upload something, so I can immediately go over to it and insult you.
And berate me as I
Now,
deserve. Sir.
if I could figure out a way to have those insults automated, I would do that too.
Yeah, because I yeah. But you know, if there's stuff you guys out there would like to see us do, feel free to let me know or not do. You know, um,
For those of you out in the audience that don't get it, I don't actually insult Shadow that much.
yeah, no, he's
Just because there are spurgs out there, like, I don't know, Doc or something. I don't know.
yeah. We're you know,
I'm
we're all good
I have
friends.
my papers, in fact.
Grandma,
Oh,
you,
he's good.
ASD1.
Grandma, you get a free pass on everything. I told you we're going to make you famous, and I am a man of my word. I don't know how. Hopefully, it won't be something horrific, you know, like Toilet Seat Girl from Dead Like Me. But you know, we will make you famous.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
That was a funny show, though.
Yeah.
I was not to be mean, but I was like, why did they pick her?
She looked average, like normal.
She
kinda
looked like someone I
depressed
grew
look.
up with. That's what bothered me the most. Is like,
Yeah.
hey, what's Becky doing on TV? You know,
You knew a Becky
when did
too?
she- yeah. When did she move to Canada? But I really liked the show.
The Becky I knew was also in Canada.
No kidding. Yeah.
See, I'm Canadian, Doc, like yourself.
Yeah. You're a good
Who you
fellow.
calling a Canadian?
Sure, it is his Canadian girlfriend, right?
I thought you were in Canada, Doc.
No, I'm in Florida, where real people live.
Where real people live. I was thinking
Florida
about
sucks.
Florida, but
I've been
I-
there. It's hot and stuff.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
would wish you guys would stop coming here on vacation.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, I
fucking
did start
crazy.
going there. It was hot and stuff.
I could do the heat, but the humidity would probably kill me. Just saying.
Oh, it's been brutally hot the last couple of days. It's been savage.
We've been in the hundreds, between 90s and like 101, I should say.
Yeah, but it's Florida. It's like 500 there.
Well, yeah, because the humidity, it just makes it feel like you're
No,
drowning in hot
it's not
steam.
humidity. Once you cross the border to Florida, you're on the surface of the sun. It's
I don't know.
fucking
'Cause
hot
it-
there.
I understand, but I thought it was like a low altitude.
Florida, yeah, we're a sandbar,
Right.
basically.
Whereas I'm
You're a
literally
swamp.
high desert and about 2 miles from the sun, depending on the time of year.
We have
Yeah.
a couple hills in the middle part of the state. Every now and then we go and look at them.
We go and look at them. Yes, they slowly erode.
Somebody should level this.
Yeah, when I was a kid and I said something gullible, my mom would say, I've got some swampland in Florida to sell you if you want to.
Hey, there's some expensive swampland down here.
Yeah. Well, it was one of the scams that used to be pulled. That and
Selling you a bridge and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I would never buy a bridge now. People keep crashing into them.
I know we've had like 8 crashes in less than 6 months. Kind of weird.
It's probably a reporting thing. People crash into bridges all the fucking time.
It could be, but you know, we'll never know.
Bridges for sale
We-
too.
we're having
We
a rash
literally
of,
will never know what exactly is causing it.
Yeah, we were having a
You know,
rash
like
of
if it was a real
processing
thing,
places exploding.
they would only tell us if they were trying to scare us, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't tell us if it was their fault.
Yeah. The San Francisco Bridge, Golden Gate. That
Right.
one used to get sold a lot to tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh off the boat.
Oceanfront property in Arizona. What's up, nerdy? So hey, you guys interested in talking about holograms?
Well, weren't we?
Hologram talk.
I didn't know we were talking about 9/11.
Yeah, that's what's in the title, because I was thinking about it the other day, and we'll get into this in the later part of the conversation, the difference between illusions and holograms and how they're actually kind of treated differently in the two different genres, but yet they're the same freaking thing if you think about it to a certain extent. But
Okay, but I will be joining you shortly because I'm going to go take a piss.
that's fair.
Enjoy.
And don't be surprised if we have to do a tag team thing because I wanted to use the restroom, but then I realized, oh, it's showtime because I did take a microscopic power nap right before the show because I ate a hamburger and apparently that's what I do after I eat a hamburger. So Doc, do you play a lot of sci-fi or no?
I used to, yeah. I played Traveler for many years.
Okay, so you can see how especially I guess it'd be obligatory to talk about how holograms have been used in TV and movies. Let's say, from Star Trek and Star Wars to even Red Dwarf, and they all had their own rules set, their own parameters of what they could and could not do. Right?
Yeah, I was never a big fan of the solid hologram idea. I always thought
Yeah,
that was
I thought that was a borderline fantasy, but who wants to talk about pleasure bunnies? That would be Justin when he gets back. I will highlight the comment. So,
the guy who has to squeegee the holodeck on the Enterprise has got to have the worst job in all of space.
Yeah, Grandma, I'm not even gonna.
I think we all know what goes on in there.
I'll show it. We all know how nasty the hologram room would be. Yes, and if you were,
The bathroom was occupied, and it wasn't
okay.
a hologram.
Yeah, I really liked. For example, the first time I saw, I think holograms was in Star Wars. The Princess Leia thing and the 3D movie, not 3D movie, the 3D game board that they were playing the 3D chess with.
The chessboard.
Even then I was like, this is kind of hokey, but it would be, if it existed for real, I would play that game.
It'd be so fucking cool
all the time. I don't know, but it was cool. But then you go into Star Trek and the holodeck, and it's just freaking crazy, right?
When in the very first episode of Next Generation, they explained it very differently than the way they started using it. Because originally it was just the walls were a hologram, a projection, and everything in there was actually real, created by the transporters. And they didn't have people or anything walking around. And then, of course, they decided they could do so much with it, so they kind of retconned it.
They actually explained the retcon in the episode with, I think, the Binars. It was part of the refit.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember that when they came in and actually fixed it because that was part of the episode. I think someone was in the in the holodeck while the Binars were screwing around, and it was like one of the subplots was the danger in the holodeck.
Yeah, the was it Picard and Riker were both infatuated with that brunette?
I think so. How she was just the perfect 10.
I didn't think she was that attractive, but
that was her, her job.
She was some kind of plan. She was some kind of program to try to take over the ship or something.
She was there to distract them and get them to say the right words for the passcode or something like that. Or
yeah, I remember it was
something stupid like that.
And the other thing that bothered me about that is if you were just able to project force at that magnitude, they're completely there's so many applications where that would just explode everything, and they never really get into it.
Defensive,
it's kind of like
shielding to weaponry to tractor beams and stuff like that. But I think maybe that's kind of what they were kind of trying to allude to is they they had that kind of technology. But if they had that kind of technology, they probably wouldn't even be, flying around in spaceships unless they absolutely had to. Between transporters and everything else, you could just, beam your ass to a planet. You know what I
I
mean?
would never, ever, ever step into one of those things.
Nope.
It kills you. It kills you dead. Sure, it makes a copy of you. That doesn't do you any good. You're dead.
It's normalized, right? Like that's the thing. You wouldn't, but your kids would, and your grandkids would think
Yep.
nothing of it.
And you just be able to kiss them goodbye because, I literally do believe that that's uh, one of the evils of that universe is that, you get taken apart like that, you're dead. I don't care if they put you back together and reprogram you. And that would be the other thing I'd worry about
And the
is
simple fact that
reprogram.
it can make multiple copies of you is proof.
Thank
of
you.
that.
You like they did in that one with Riker that got stranded on the planet. Why wouldn't they be making just create the perfect human, right? Right? And
I
use
wouldn't be
him as the
surprised.
security officer on every ship, and every time they ever needed to go to war, just beam in a million of these guys. Why couldn't they just literally make almost anything, and or why wouldn't they reprogram everybody if maybe that is in fact what they did? I would love to see like a dark version of Star Trek explaining all these things that's actually
Nefarious. Yeah, it's called Discovery, bro.
It would make
because if you
doctors
think about it,
basically useless.
back
You
in
could
the
take
original
someone apart.
series, when Kirk, swiped the cloaking device. Well, from that moment on, the Federation had cloaked ships doing some shady shit.
Oh, of course.
Well, yeah, that was the point of the Kittimer Accord. It was the Federation promised not to. I think it was the Kittimer or one of the other ones. The Federation promised not to develop technology, cloaking technology, and they did anyway because that was the whole Pegasus, right? The Riker's previous ship, not the
Right. I
one
mean,
where
why would they
got
and why would you
duplicated.
ever
But
even
one,
get into that kind of an agreement? It's like, no, we're going to do whatever the hell we want.
because the
You guys are
Federation
going to get
didn't care. The Federation didn't care. The Federation was leaps and bounds and more technologically advanced than everyone else. Also, the Federation are ideological authoritarians. You got to realize that when it comes to the nefarious entities in the Star Trek universe, the Federation are far more nefarious than the Borg.
Yeah, that's one of the things
Because
I liked about DS9 is they got into that. It was
yeah,
always glossed over in all the other shows.
yeah,
But
because
yeah, the
you're
Federation
dealing
is
with
really
the civilian
insidious.
level.
oh, I am so sorry, nerds. How can we help? Guys. I'm trying to create a character here. I can't be correcting y'all's incorrect Star Trek assumptions. Uh, I didn't know you worked for the franchise. Yeah, you're welcome to come on in and school us on hologram technology if you like. I stopped being a Star Trek fan a long time
Decades ago,
ago.
I'm gonna go check to see the bathroom's free again.
Don't get me wrong, the original series was life changing as a kid. The Next Generation, the first time I watched it as a kid, was awesome. Watching it again as an actual adult, I'm like, oh dear God, no, just no. And that was it. Then I did watch Enterprise. I really enjoyed that. Despite some things, I really liked the different sort of storytelling where while it was, here, I bet that's nerdy. No, why is Doc in here twice?
Oh, am I? I lost the window, so I re-entered.
Nope, that's you twice. I could have swore that was going to be nerdy coming in here to school us. Um,
Let me see what's going on.
for a second, I almost thought it was one of our friends named Fritz or Felix, who was coming in to give us a hard time. But yeah, cloning while they're multiplying. Oh, and then he's gone off that one. I'll bring him in on the other one.
Yeah,
There you
I lost the window for some
go.
reason.
It's okay. That's better because that way, if other people want to join us, there is still room. Uh, but yeah, I like the way Enterprise left you hanging a lot of times. The ship is smoking. I don't know how that would happen, but
It's
it,
just off gassing.
yeah, it's limping off, after a confrontation or another. I just it was just it was a more believable, more.
I liked Enterprise. It didn't get a chance.
Yeah, and then the last season, again, one of those things where, people who don't know any better make really stupid decisions and screw up something that could have been, you know, that would outlive their stupid decisions by decades, if not centuries, to come.
And it was
In
just
the
certain
future, I could
project
see
things.
people still watching Star Trek and still trying to, accomplish those things. Because of that show, people did try to, literally reach for the stars in new ways, and for that, at least we could be, you know, thankful, maybe not grateful, but thankful that the people were inspired to try to do those things. But back to holograms. Uh,
You're a hologram.
I am. I'm literally just focused light. But am I a hard light hologram? I don't think so. Well, what's your guys' favorite examples of holograms? Maybe you know something that I didn't mention.
Hmm.
Definitely the fucking holodeck, man.
You think so?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
the only
other than
real good
Star Trek and Red
holograms.
Dwarf, I don't really. I mean, Star Wars kind of sort of
Well,
used them
well,
as a
Blade Runner 2.
communication thing. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. I wasn't a fan of the movie. I didn't think that needed a sequel,
Yeah.
but that was kind of interesting what they did with that.
I like the
Uh,
TV show better.
there was a TV show.
Okay,
There was a
nerdy.
show called Total Recall 2070, something like that. 2070, but it was Blade Runner, not Total Recall.
You think so? I'm curious. I don't know. I kind of I have a theory that kind of can corroborate that, but this isn't really the time or place for that. Um,
The universe is a hologram. That's simulationist theory, and I don't trek with that kind of mathematical nihilism. I'm happy with my normal bog standard nihilism. Thank you very much.
for me, my favorite's got to be Red Dwarf, uh, Rimmer. Just that was just
Well, that's a program, not a. The technology is irrelevant to that. But yeah, Rimmer
it
was
was one of the most
funniest
ingenious,
fucking.
clever uses of that sort of concept. It was so much fun, and yeah, it was hysterical.
Now,
I
I still think the American Red Dwarf was far superior.
There was an American version of that.
you're just trying to stir shit up. I see right
Yes,
through. I see
yes,
right
yes,
through your
yes.
hologram ass. Um,
Yeah. There were two pilot attempts to
Red
get
Dwarf
that.
was great up until they actually lost the ship. Once they were on that little bug thing, it just got way too repetitive for me, and I just kind of
yeah, there were so many things they could have kept doing with the ship. Uh, yeah, Rimmer was just what a. I mean, to play that part and still be the nice guy that he was, kind of like the Larry Linville who played Major Burns in MASH. To be able to, it's just a part. I'm not really that guy, but when I'm that guy, you are going to just despise me. The men hate me, don't they? Don't they, Radar? Just your guts, sir.
Just your guts, sir.
Where's the link? The link is in my Discord. Are you in my Discord, nerdy? You should be.
Uh,
If not, maybe Justin can send it to you
I will send him a link to your Discord. That's what I
after
will
he
do.
deals with his dogs. Be right back. Three dumb guys in space alone. Yes, yes. So, what are some ways you've used holograms there, Doc?
I haven't really mucked with them a lot, really, to be honest. I was never like huge. I mean, we used a lot of stuff like kind of like they used in
Oh, I
the
can't.
Recall movie, like like make things seem like they were someplace where they weren't. But we never really used them all that much when we were playing Traveler, for example. It was just kind of one of those things that was around, but other than like as communication devices, we never really heavily got into it.
Really, I liked using them for uh, like camouflage of various sorts.
Yeah, that's a good use for them, or projecting things where they aren't to as distractions.
Hmm. I had players in one naval campaign where they used a combination of like the old blow up tanks and things like that. Where it looks like it's a thing, but it's not. But it was uh, a hologram projected around the equivalent of like a hot air balloon, or hiding installations in forests and things like that. Um, but I think that at a certain point, it becomes a low tech solution and kind of right, like concealing rooms and doors or the whole building, advertising in a city. I think stuff like that is going to be far more common. The sort of Blade Runner cyberpunk esque situation where you're walking downtown and as the GM you're describing the different, like the equivalent of the hologrammatic wooden Indian in front of the cigar store,
Yeah,
things
that's
like that,
basically
dancing
how.
girls
Yeah,
in the windows kind of thing,
that's
you know,
basically how
or
I used them as kind of like dressing.
Yeah.
which is a
Like
shame
kind of like
because
a jukebox where you have an actual like band appear on a stage, but it's not really there.
right,
That kind of stuff.
for the most part, like advertising and entertainment, when if you think about it, uh, what do you call it? If your player characters could use that kind of stuff for I like pop up ads. I'm curious, for disguises and things like that. In the right settings and whatnot, you could use it, to make your alien character look like everybody else.
Like in the Total Recall remake, they redid the mask scene,
Right,
but it was a hologram, not a
prosthetic,
robot thing.
which
Yeah,
was, you have to admit that special effects scene was amazing.
both times.
Okay.
More in the '80s because practical.
And it was so unexpected.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
went from one thing to another, and I was just like, "What the frick? How are
They
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 doing that crap?"
they cut that so quickly that you don't really notice the fake head
Right,
until it's starting to open, which is good of them. But
right. Unlike
that's just
the
a
end
television.
prosthetic or practical
Yeah,
magic effect where their eyes are popping out.
that
Uh,
just looked like rubber crap.
that looked. It
That was
reminded me of that movie From Beyond.
Oh yeah. From Beyond was very cheesy. Good film, but was
Right,
easy.
Grandma. Is that uh, like the displacer beast effect where you think it's like over here, but it's really over there. So when you swing, you miss. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Literally, modern day illusionist stuff that we'll get into. But I think it's a technology that you could use, but you have to be careful not to abuse it because then
Well, there was this one like episode of TNG um, where there are these scam artists ripping off this Neobarb planet or whatever. By doing that, using transporter and hologram effects to claim they were dark sorcerers.
right, Ardra
Was it Ardra?
or something like that.
yeah,
Ardra.
yeah. There
But
was
yeah,
like some
yeah,
prophecy, and she like
Yeah.
came in and
yeah.
broke.
That was actually a fun episode. But
Hmm.
you just knew like the first half's cool, but she's just gonna come crashing down hard. He's wearing a Displacer Beast shirt. Okay, Cal.
Fun. I just actually read very recently the book that they stole the Displacer Beast from. I didn't even realize it. Came from one of the Space Beagle stories, the cat with the big giant tentacles on its back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just read that recently. I realized
it was Ardra. I would love to see the link to that book there, Doc, later on.
Yeah,
there's some audiobook versions of it, I think, on YouTube.
Okay.
Well,
from,
if you
early 50s, these were written. A lot of stuff like Alien is kind of ripped from one of the stories, as is Predator. Actually, it's been like it's like hardly anybody reads these books anymore, but it's like a lot of more modern stuff was like adaptations of like it was like a bunch of short stories, like they I forget what the term is when they crunch them down and just put them together as a novel, a patch up.
Another good example, believe it or not, that I'm even saying this, I want to say one of the recent Spider-Man movies with Mysterio.
Yeah.
Where he claimed to be from another dimension, but he was actually just a hologram guy, instead of the way he was in the comic books. That was very interesting the way they did all of that.
In the movie, in the recent movie, he was from another dimension?
No, he was pretending to be. I believe.
No, I thought he was, but he was a scam artist in his reality. And fled. Like he fell through one of the dimensional portals during the thing with Doctor Strange the first time.
It could be, like I said, it's been a few years since I saw it.
Yeah.
I was, digging some of the special effects, but hating the everything else.
Mm-hmm. I felt the same way.
That wasn't Mary Jane. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Mary Jane was a certain thing, and that's it. Like it or leave it, that's what she was. Spider-Man, as in Peter Parker, was a certain way, and turning him from the coolest kid in town from previously being the exact opposite of that is just weak.
Well, he wasn't the coolest kid in town, though.
No, that's what I mean. That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
He was literally, the least popular kid in school, and suddenly now he's the coolest kid, in the state or whatever. It's just like that's typical modern, leftist think where nobody can be that guy. Nobody can be the least popular guy because that's not allowed. Everybody has to be equally popular, or everybody's the most popular. You can't have. Is that you, Nerdy? Hold on, I'm trying to write something down.
Did Doc, the link that you just sent through? Did you set it to start at a specific story, or?
It's the bunch of them all together.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering that because if you didn't set it, I've already listened to some of it.
Welcome to the show, Nerdy. Okay, how you going to school us?
Nerdy Ogre.
Okay.
Hey.
First of all, the
Can
transporter.
you raise your mic?
No, he's more tinny than quiet. And why are you in portrait, bro?
Because I'm using my phone because I don't have a computer right now. My computer gave me the finger and said, I'm out of here. And it crashed on me.
Okay. Yeah, but that doesn't answer the question why you're in portrait.
Because I don't know how to fix it.
Turn your phone sideways. Yeah, shake it a little bit so it adjusts. I don't know, man. You don't have auto rotate on?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine, man.
Because I'm also on a phone.
To have you on the show, I'm walking downstairs. That's why you can't see me, but I am in fact listening.
Come on there.
We're about to hear some Liquid go. What were you getting onto Nerdy? Stop worrying about the tech stuff and just tell us what you're here for.
Okay. All right. First of all, the transporter, it doesn't make clones. Okay. It doesn't make clones. All right. If you think about it, everything is all made up of the same thing. You, the microphone, the camera, you're just looking at you, the computer, the desk, everything. Close your words. It's all made up of energy. That's what the transporter does. It breaks it down to that energy, moves it someplace else. Then it re-solidifies. It doesn't make a clone.
In fact, it doesn't do that. It breaks down you into energy, puts your energy into storage with the rest of the stuff, and then takes the material from the local area, breaks it down, and turns it into you. That's why when that transporter accident happened with Riker, it didn't break him down at the local area. So the Riker that was the security chief on that one ship was the more original Riker. Not the original, because he had been transported dozens of times before that, if not hundreds or thousands.
No.
But more original.
No, because it was broken down. He was broken down into energy form. It was in mid-transport. There was a problem in mid-transport. That's why it basically transferred over to a second beam. Whenever it was transferred over into the second, the Riker that we knew was up on the ship, and they just let that first one just do its thing, which basically created the second Riker, which is the only time it's ever actually cloned.
Well, there was the evil Kirk from the original series, and then
No, that wasn't a clone though. That was the alternate universe.
No, that was a different episode. There was one where there was
one. Yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one where an evil Kirk was cloned.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one. The only one I saw
split into two.
Yeah, they tried to do a morality thing where it was your dark half, but it was really stupid, and that's why they can get away with the like your consciousness is stored in the computer buffer and then like added to your body later. They did that in an episode of Deep Space Nine, where they were storing everyone's minds in the holodeck. And they were forced to live through one of Bashir's James Bond knockoff things, and they're I don't know why they needed to store their physical patterns. The material was stuffing up the buffer because they just grabbed material from the same vat of like synthol.
Yeah, there was a problem with the transporter, so they basically put them in the holodeck, giving them holographic bodies. But because of what's his name, the Ferengi, the stupid one.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name. Well, the stupid one.
Also,
because of his MacGyvering of everything, it all got. But even then, it wasn't a clone. There was just.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about the separation of the mind and the body.
Does anybody remember the one that turned them all to kids, and then they had to figure out if they could do that, no one would ever die of old age.
Yes.
I don't feel so good. I'm gonna
go. That was another thing I was going to get to. I'm actually going to have to rename this episode "Holograms and Transporter Technology."
That's another thing. Like, okay, so I turn 25. I go get my transporter. I go get transported, and I have them copy my physical pattern buffer and just store it on a chip somewhere. And every 10, 15 years, I just have them switch out my pattern.
Not only that, if you think about
like my physical body pattern, because the mental's separate.
Here's what
right?
I was thinking about. Okay, with with that, the right programmer could take your pattern and merge it and meld it with other people's patterns, and not only create a better you.
That happened in an episode of Voyager with
Tuvix.
Neelix and Tuvox.
Why couldn't they not only do that, but then ultimately create the supreme life form or a superior race or group of things or whatever? If you could make a duplicate,
Morality.
well, yeah, but the Federation.
Do you think 631 ain't doing that?
Also, it would make doctors completely obsolete. So
Yeah.
they just take you apart and put you back together correctly without any injury.
Just pull some. Oh, you lost your lag, Nog? Yeah, well, we got your pattern from your weekly medical.
Right. The same thing with
value.
freaking Worf when he got his back injury. Just like run him right back through the freaking transporter and fix him.
Yeah, like
Why they couldn't do that with everything, which would eventually lead to the equivalent of immortality for certain folks.
It invalidates the whole purpose of Star Trek Nemesis or.
This is what bothers me
Nemesis,
about these kind of technologies.
What was the second Star Trek Next Generation movie?
I don't remember.
The one where the world that they think's primitive, but it's not. They're trying to secretly relocate them all so they can steal the nebula that's making them immortal.
Know. Okay.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
The one where you can clearly see through that Italian chick's shirt.
I don't think I saw that one. Because the two technologies, along with a third technology, which we in my games called Total Recall technology, which was reprogramming the brain. With all three, or even just the two we were talking about, you could literally create a utopian society that would fit in a small computer somewhere. Eventually, and you could just transport the freaking little box that just pops out and starts, taking the molecules from that area and running them through a transporter and start pumping out your buildings and your people and more transporters, infinitely.
Yeah.
Oh, Insurrection, that one was.
Insurrection, yeah. Because they had to revolt against the admiral that was running that program. It's just like stupid. You already have. Hey, we lost Nerdy.
He'll be back. Or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
already
what
have.
drives me crazy about those kind of technologies, but they don't. There's all of these unintended consequences.
Well,
Right.
it's not even that. Okay.
To consideration.
So you don't suspect that consequence is a thing that could happen, right? But then it does happen, and no one researches how to refine that accidental thing.
Exactly, like with Riker, the classic episode we've been talking
with
about.
Kirk, like it happened to Kirk in the original series.
I can easily see like a cabal of Federation individuals running the galaxy from wherever, forever.
Never forget, the Federation is the evil organization in Star Trek.
I've always that from the episode with the cloaking device. From that point on, I was like, you know what, this has the potentiality for unimaginable evil, and they never ever touched on that except with the better episodes, which were the Mirror episodes. Fight me, those are the best Star Trek episodes ever. No matter,
except for the Deep Space Nine ones, because they're all gay.
I never saw that. I never watched.
Well, you see, in the original
Good
series,
point, Grandma. Take your DNA and create children instead of going through the other more strenuous process, and eventually you would have
strenuous.
Well, the birthing process.
Yeah, we don't care about women here.
Worf got hurt, right? Was it not just retarded? When everybody's just thinking, just run him through the transporter, he'll be fine. Instead, all the other ridiculousness, then only to just have him regenerate, because why not?
Because stem cell research.
Right.
Yeah, and as soon as a technology like this gets invented, you're going to have millions of people like the DARPA guys who are just going to immediately sit down and like, what incredibly fucked up thing can we do with this? And all this stuff would come out like within days. They'd be doing all matter of just
maybe not that fast, but it would come out pretty quick. But that's the thing, right? Like technology runs in cycles, and it's either there's revolutionary.
Better than brains and vats, absolutely.
Revolutionary. That's a new, radically new technology.
Honestly, nerdy, we had nothing to do with that. You are welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
To help school us on Star Trek technology, just like the androids. Why even bother with that? Just make perfect humans that are built with the strength and the memory and the reflexes and the senses and everything. You could literally create a race of beings, or just the one guy, the emperor or whatever, because
you might want some different people,
right? Kind of like, what was that show, Altered Carbon, I think, where you get new bodies. Well, why even go through all that rigmarole?
They didn't have that technology,
right?
Still,
that was a different take on it, but there would be the people at the top, the Bezos, the Schmuckerbergs, that would get a hold of all of that and say, okay, I'm having you do this, but all these different facets of his corporation are doing all this stuff and creating literal gods. I mean, you would literally be able to figure out how to build a tractor beam into your form, to where you could fly and do repulsor beams and laser eyes and all that other crap, to literally, if you did it right, you could just shape change into whatever you wanted or needed to be.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, that's going a little far in the
human imagination. If I could think about it, then greater people than me, or wealthier people than me, would in a society like that would think about doing stuff like that. And if you got to a certain point, you're elevated to this point, why not elevate your minions to be a little bit better, and then a little bit better as you grow, until you have something like a new race of gods.
And conversely, you'd have we need some janitors, but they don't need to be terribly smart.
Right.
In fact, it's probably better.
That's a Brave New World kind of talk there.
But what kind of game would that be? Where the players get to choose, to be, whatever. Obviously, the limitation is your imagination and petty DMs who don't know how to handle such a challenge. I could run a game like that. As a matter of fact, I did for 20 years. My sci-fi game, my players they were evil. They had total recall technology. They had transporter technology. They had, replicator technology, and they did the evilest, craziest shit you could imagine. And then 25 years later, they decided to actually become good. Much to my chagrin, I was floored, and that opened up a whole new chapter when we thought this campaign had sort of ground to a really great conclusion, believe it or not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got the beginnings of a whole great new campaign. Unfortunately, one of them passed away recently, and one of them moved away and became converted to Islam, and things happen. So who knows? Maybe I'll write that game in my spare time.
Mm-hmm.
Another
museum. That's a great idea, Grandma. Especially if you think about it, like right now with our museum, our aerospace museum, where some of those things are going to break down and they're eventually going to rust. You're not going to be able to.
No, they repair. They repair rust. That's what they primarily do at.
There actually is a museum of holography in New York, or actually there used to be. I don't know if there still is, and it's been there for a long time. It's been there at least since the 90s. I went there once early on. It was fairly primitive,
And not only that, but like amusement parks, to where you could go and go back in time essentially, or go into the future, or do all kinds of things, but you never leave your seat or the room, but you're just walking on a treadmill or whatever and doing all these things. The potential, you know, craziness you could do, mostly in the game world, but someday maybe, if we get past the crap that we're going through now, God only knows. I want to kind of go back
That
to
that museum Doc was talking about is at 240 East and 26th Street,
Oh,
and
it's
it's
still there?
open from 2 to 6 from Monday to Friday.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So-
that's awesome, but I wouldn't be caught dead in that location. So yeah, Disneyland would be killer.
Right,
Not only
you might be caught dead if you were
right, but yeah, a nice play on words, Grandma. Imagine
Jaws hologram, exactly, from Back to the Future 2.
no, actually, I meant this one before, and I don't know why I clicked that one. But imagine, Westworld or Future World kind of situations where instead of having to build these giant sets and fake buildings and take over huge swaths of landscape, you could create, a hotel where, different suites would allow you, you never left the room, but you could do all this crazy shit, and then some poor schlub would have to hose the place down when you're done.
Yeah, if I had a holodeck, you know how often it need to be hosed down.
Hourly.
I think it would be too unhygienic to leave it that long.
Even an hour. That's nasty. That's fucking nasty.
Guys going in and out with hazmat suits.
Well, I'd be kind. I'd make holograms do the hazmat work, but it would be every 30 seconds or so.
Dustin, how long do you think your heart would hold out? I mean, that kind of strenuous activity, just saying, but then again, you could just get a new body, and then, you would just, be Arnold Schwarzenegger's wet dream, literally. And, just, the rest of your existence would be one last, O face. Yes. That's something we're going to have to deal with deep fakes and eventual holograms, your old lady's getting old, and hey honey, I got you this new ring.
A holographic strip club would be interesting because there'd be all kinds of like controls, like max out the breast slider. Like,
Ernest Borgnine as all the janitors, of course. I think that's in his contract. That guy was a weirdo too, wasn't he?
I don't know.
So I want to talk about two things before we say goodnight, which God knows when that'll be, but we're not going to be on here for like 5 hours. But I want to talk about DM abuses with such things. I think the easiest way to go into it is in fantasy games. We've all been in those situations where it was an illusion. And how deflating it was to find out, that it was an illusion. Then you get to that point where everybody's disbelieving everything and wasting time on, I disbelieve roles, which, it's the player's only recourse, but it sort of defeats the, they got clubs for girls, 2 boys. What do you think? Should we just shy away from it, or vastly limit it, or leave it to that one situation where it's like the Tower of the Mad Illusionist or something like that, and then just be done with it, or just avoid it altogether?
I think it's just all a question of how you use it, how sparingly. I did one entire session where the whole thing was hallucinatory, and it was actually a pretty good session where they're mucking around at some mage's lab, and they opened a book, and they had themselves transported to this like crazy land, and just all this wacky stuff happened, and it ended, and they're just back where they're standing. But you can't do stuff like that all the time.
Well,
right.
Every now and then that works, but
if it's something that's funny and like, okay, you start a session, and by the midpoint or even the end of the session, you find out it's an illusion. okay, it's one night. You don't have like weeks and weeks of effort built up on a lark. But if it's one of those things that you've been adventuring for 6 months and then you find out that it's worth nothing,
Right.
well, then that's an asshole maneuver.
Yeah, that
Right,
was
right. The whole like dream sequence, Dallas.
Yeah,
The whole season was just a dream. I would probably,
That's you wrote yourself into a corner and you're trying to get out of it. Not you're a clever writer and wrote a diversion. Now, if that Dallas episode was like a three episode arc, it wouldn't have been bad. It would have been fun, but
Right.
it was the whole fucking season.
Right. Right, Grandma. But I don't think it would be anywhere near the same. Just saying, because everybody knows women don't want to have sex.
Well, not with you.
Well, I can only speak from my own personal experience.
I've never had that problem. The trick is rope.
The trick is rope. I thought you were going to say duct tape, but that'll work.
Yeah, close enough.
Right now, okay. So we're more or less in agreement that kept to a bare minimum. It's like a one and done kind of thing. In the old days, you would often come across a lot of an illusion thing here, an illusion thing there. I think that could work in a sci-fi situation. If you what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're letting the players use hologrammatic stuff, then you're going to end up with the players with their goggles on 24/7, seeing through all that crap always. At which point you just don't do it anymore because it's no longer.
It's like anything. If you overuse it, it just becomes kind of trite, and it's just like.
So moderation and maybe some input from the players. Now, what about, for example, our friend Omen is playing an illusionist who has yet to even, evolve into D&D illusionist, trickery, which can be a lot of fun. I've run a couple of illusionists that were absolutely fun characters, and of course, you've always got to team it up with thief abilities. I don't know why. Those are the rules. You just got to do it, even if you aren't a gnome.
Yes. Newhart, the whole series was a dream, was it not?
Which one? Like the second series of Newhart?
The second one, that was one of the best show endings ever, I have to say, though. When he wakes up in bed with his wife from the first series.
I vaguely remember it. I don't know why I remember the first series more, but I do.
Are you using series like the British do right now? I didn't know there was more than one series of.
Well, I'm thinking the Bob Newhart show. Are you talking about something completely different?
It's a thing that Nerdy said.
Unlike the TV show Newhart, where the entire series was a dream, must be something completely different. Than I was thinking Bob Newhart, and that's just a
the Bob Newhart show and Newhart. There were two different shows that he did years apart.
Okay.
And at the end of Newhart, the second one, he wakes up in the original series. And the second show was a dream.
Okay, that's weird, but I'll have to catch that because wasn't Robin?
But it was
Williams
a comedy, right? It was a dramatic comedy, so.
Yeah, I'll try to catch it, but I know I probably never will.
No, I've seen a few episodes of it. It just wasn't for me, so I didn't know that detail.
Yeah, the first show he did, he was a psychiatrist living in New York, and the second one, he was an inn owner in like New England. And at the end of that show, that was a dream of his character from his first series.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which is meta. It's not. You don't invalidate the character because it's meta, right? Like you're doing if you were doing that in your game, where
it
would have to be. Once again, I think it's a time investment on the player's behalf. If you drag it out too long, it becomes more and more of a dick move.
Right, exactly. I think it's okay when you've got the player, or players where they're using that sort of stuff. That's their shtick, like kind of like a Mission Impossible group where they're constantly using holograms and stuff. That's fine. But if you're the DM and every adventure has got to have some illusionary crap in it, it's just going to get old and eventually, not because it might not sound good on paper, but because players being who and what they are will eventually tear everything apart. And
Yeah, that's
kind of like Max Liao's problem with the gem of seeing in Dungeons and Dragons. It helps you bypass traps, illusions, and all kinds of things. The downside is the whole time the character's looking through this gem at everything, but then it just like wrecks a lot of your trips and your tricks and your traps and deceptions where you're trying to get the players to figure out the mystery because of the clues you've dropped, and they just pull out the Sherlock Holmes spyglass and they're like, okay, I solved this crime in 8 seconds. Okay, well, crap.
If they use it sparingly enough that they're not expecting it. If they're expecting the illusion, then it's pointless to even use it.
That, and I got to reiterate on if it invalidates something they've been working for a long time, right? Like if they spent 3 months going to the dark tower, and they get there and they knock on the door, and as they're knocking, their hand goes through it because it's a fucking illusion. And I'm talking 3 months real time, right?
That's interesting, Grandma. You've come up with a couple of
that's a dick move. Yeah. Are they've beaten Smog, and they go to shove a treasure into their bags, and it's an illusion.
Or worse, the GM goes out of his way to take it all away just because all that money would ruin my economy. No, it wouldn't ruin your economy. It'll only ruin your economy if you say it will. If your world is a big fantasy world, then it just trickles down and goes all over the place and no harm.
Well, it could ruin a small town,
right?
But only in the sense that now that town is attracting people and will grow.
Right, and it's no longer a small town, and if turning a small town into a big metropolitan city is your idea of ruining it, which it kind of should, but for different reasons. You're in control, and let them get their win. Because personally, I like the bigger and greater challenges. I don't like keeping people arbitrarily low when they want to go high. If they're ready for to get into the bigger picture kind of campaigns and conspiracies and things like that. Hey, Nerdy, you're welcome back anytime. I got no problem with that. If people, in the group say, hey, we want to stay kind of around here kind of thing, that's fine. That's what they want. Cool. I can always start a new game where it's like, okay, like I was talking about, all right, everybody, you're going to get to make up a 15th level character. You've got all this cool shit, and then we start. I can do that at any time. I have done it. I'm going to do it again. But if the group wants to do this, that's what's one of the really interesting things about this hobby is that you can get a bunch of people together that want to have this shared fantasy that's going to be incredibly unique, and I think in a lot of cases better than anything you're going to read or watch out there. The greatest of great sci-fi and fantasy movies and books, etc., in my opinion, pale in comparison to even some of the worst games I've been in, because it's been a better experience and something I can remember and take with me, for the rest of my life. Some of those great sessions we've all had where, you walk away and you're like, I can't wait to tell so-and-so about, my game. I have had friends that literally would, my one really, really good friend, he would literally come home after every game and tell his kids what happened in the game as a bedtime story. You know what I mean? So there's a passel of kids out there that know about these characters and these stories, and in some cases waiting, for the next chapter, like like we would, our favorite TV show when we had those, and we would be like, all gathered around the TV, or all, like me on the phone with my buddies between the commercial break. Did you see that? Oh my God, which we actually did for Next Generation. The Borg, when it first aired, me and my friend Chucky, we were on the phone, provided we could get through because the other guy wasn't trying to call us. We didn't get that busy signal, just going freaking nuts over, what was going on, or Babylon 5, when it was first airing the very first time, we were just like, great, we get to do the same thing, but with our friends as, co-writers and co-creators of this thing that, we call role playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does have a lot more depth if you let it, but it's one of the reasons why I don't like people when they do the things I said at the top of the show. Ask for the result instead of trying to enjoy the world, right?
Right.
Like
Well, we
you're
can break
robbing you're robbing yourself and everyone else at the table of the memories.
old
Like,
habits die hard, and
Mhm.
and that's one of the great things about this online thing that we do. I mean, think of how many GMs out there are, or would have still been making those mistakes had it not been for us being able to communicate like this over the internet and say,
Mhm.
hey, this is bad, and here's why. Here's a better way to do this thing, or these things, and now we can do it better. And from now on, our games are only going to get richer and deeper, and you're cutting out a lot of bullshit. You know, uh,
Mm.
like tonight with OGGM's game, uh, we had rolled initiative at the beginning of the game, and he's like, okay, you're in a new situation. You want to roll initiative again? I'm like, no, I had the worst initiative of the group. Like, no, let's just keep going. Screw it. You got it written down. Let's just keep that initiative for the rest of the game. It's fine. I'd rather go and do all this other stuff. I don't need initiative roll every single time because that's just like you know, a, kind of like a dick waving contest. Ooh, I rolled higher than you did. I get to go first every time. So what?
Yeah.
Don't care, unless it means that you're going to hog up all the glory. Well, any good GM's going to be like, no, that ain't going to happen because I'm just going to keep throwing monsters at you. Oh, wait, everybody's at like 2 or 3 hit points. Okay, they're all dead. You know, not literally, but you can do that kind of shit if you really want to, force a certain, you know, feeling to the overall session. But there's
Yeah.
better ways of going about that. But
And that game was only 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Yep.
From what I'm looking at.
Yep.
Yeah, I might watch that later tonight.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect, man. You guys just have
But
to be like in the moment.
right. It was, everybody was in the right frame of mind, in the right spirit. Because I don't know about you, but I've been in games where you could tell, Bob was having a bad day or a bad week. And hopefully by the end of the night, all that
You,
crap
you
got
could
washed.
tell Justin is finally getting some sleep.
Right.
I've fallen asleep a couple of times during Shadow's game.
Yeah, he has. But I don't take it personal.
It's not you, man. It's
No.
the game is not boring. It's just like a lot of times I've been up.
I was actually happy for you that you got even a few minutes of sleep, and we got to, crack jokes about you behind your back while you're right there. Yeah, you don't get that kind of an opportunity. All that was missing was a couple of Sharpies. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Man, you ever want to crack jokes to my face? I'm okay with it. I'll call you out on it and then make fun of you.
That's how you know.
I will mostly say you could have done better because Shadow Bro, you could have done better.
Oh no, whatever shall I do? Yeah,
Your
right.
jokes
The
are
day I
weak.
get it perfect, I think I will end up, not waking up the next day because I, will have succeeded in my life's mission. So I'm okay with that. I'm here to learn and enjoy, not to suffer and struggle. Yes, exactly,
What?
Grandma. I really hope it does well in encouraging OG to keep doing what he's doing. He's really a fun GM, and he's even funner to play with as one of your mates in a game. Uh, that's why I insisted that we do what we're doing, because he was not having fun, and now he is.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
exactly, Cal. Like you're always saying, what is it? Perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah, perfect is the enemy of good.
I'm real happy with good. Got to tell you, real happy with good.
Mm.
I've had a couple of games that I could call perfect, but that's just me.
You can always look back at the thing. You can always like watch your game session back and look at the things that you want to improve on as a personal player, right? Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better at the things you're doing.
Right. That's why we have professional athletes. So that we can see the apogee of the activity. Grandma, what do you mean the Maze Rat game looks interesting? What is that?
Don't know. The
Right.
maze
You,
rat
you,
game.
you can't, because I mean it's like herding cats to begin with. You're never going to get those cats to line up and march in step, and if you do, run, because they're getting ready to take over the earth.
I read that Dean Koontz novel. It's not good.
But yeah, Grandma, what did you mean by this comment? The Maze Rat game looks interesting.
There is a game called Maze Rats. It's an RPG.
Okay.
It's on Jector.
Okay.
Is it one of those anthropomorphic animal games?
I have no idea. Questing Beast is currently
Oh,
muted,
okay,
so
okay,
I can't
I
hear
got
what
you.
he's talking about.
Okay, yeah, and he had a great system on creating spells on the fly. That was genius for first level. Players getting to come into their skill set, as it were. That was interesting. I'm going to keep calling them all heretics because that's my character. They're all witches. I'm surrounded by witches, except for you, Grandma. But I'm starting to worry because you're doing some weird shit that I've never seen a nun do before. She's making light appear, and little monsters show up and stuff.
I just posted the link to Questing Beast's YouTube video.
I haven't watched one of his videos in forever.
Yeah,
He's got a good thing going.
yeah.
Um, at first, he took a little getting used to for me, but you know,
He was a weird guy.
anybody puts himself out there and tries to help folks out, to
Mhm.
oh, really? Okay. Yeah, see, maybe that's what I was sensing is, maybe a little grifter in him or something. We will bring Jesus to them, Grandma. We will. We'll cleanse them and purge the heretics and make the world a better place. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, for Christ's sake, you're getting to do this, as for a living or whatever, even just as a hobby. You guys are literally, in the top tier of humanity, in my opinion. If you get to do this and
Wow.
understand what it can do, not to go all J. Scott Garrity on you guys, but we are really lucky.
Whoa.
Did I go?
We are all disciples of J. Scott Garrett.
He is the light and the one true way.
Yeah, he is the light and the one true way. He will lead us to the brilliance that is the
The palace of
human
paradise.
improvement engine that is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love D&D, but this is
Shut up! I hear heresy from the one true way.
let me finish. When I've gotten this campaign out of my system, I do want
We're
to.
playing some Morkborg, motherfucker. We're gonna watch the
I'm going to play a
apocalypse.
whole lot of other games. I am going to play a crap ton of other games, because my old group, they were really fun and really good guys, and I miss them every day, but they were kind of stuck. 25 years playing the same freaking characters. Okay, guys, can we make up some new characters? No. Okay.
I
Fine.
want to see you play Fanged deserter. This is who you're going to be, a fanged deserter. Yeah, that's
No, I'm just respectful for what he gave us. You know, nobody's perfect, and you know, hookers and
No.
blow are a terrible combo. Just saying, and I don't.
I
know
don't know. I don't know. Are they? Have you done hookers and blow?
I can neither confirm nor deny either of
I
them.
think it is a no. I think you have lost the way of Almighty Gygax in his redeeming light of hookers and blow.
Smack my hand on the back of the slug. That was almost a spit take, but I wasn't drinking. But yeah, we're lucky.
All
we're lucky
praise
some
his
pieces.
glory. Gygax.
Wait, are we talking about therapy or hookers and blow right now?
His one true disciple.
I don't know. That sounds like a party. You got
Gygax
Gygax,
therapy.
Dave Scott, and a bunch of hookers and blow. I don't know. That could be fun, you know, just as long as they all have their own separate rooms. Just saying.
No, you must watch.
Don't do drugs, kids. Do not do drugs, and more importantly, don't do hookers. Just saying.
I think don't do drugs is more important than don't do hookers.
Right. But you know, I do have kids watching, and you know,
Do you?
but no, I
Do
literally
you
don't.
really?
My son hasn't watched the show ever. Praise be the Gygax. Hallelujah. Glory to the way. Gygax was at the Playboy Mansion. Oh, wow. I have even more respect for him than I ever did. Sean, how the hell are you doing? I hope you got your package from your friend, and I hope there were cards in there you could use. I don't know diddly about the game. I never got to literally play it even once. And I gave you, hopefully some good stuff. If not, pass them on to somebody else, because I'm certain there's enough to maybe make a deck. I mean, it's a stack of about, I want to say a couple hundred cards, and from the size of the starter deck box, I'm certain that someone, maybe you've got a niece or a nephew. Oh, I thought you guys were going to meet up this weekend for like a big game or something. Maybe I misunderstood when exactly that's going to be, but I've got the tracking number, so I'm sure it got there. I was just kind of like after I wrapped it up, I noticed that it made that noise. Any of you who've ever bought like Magic cards, when cards slide back and forth in a box, they make this really distinct noise. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody buy like a big box of cards, and you could tell what's in it because it makes that weird not rotating but sliding noise that cards make.
What event is next weekend?
It's for Marvel Overpower, the collectible card game from way back in the day.
Yeah.
I gotta send off some more stuff. I might actually be able to do it this week, where I'll be sending out something to Bear and Dungeon Minister. I think there was somebody else I was going to send something to.
Yeah, you're going to send Death in Space to me.
Oh, right. And yeah, Overpower Tournament.
Did you ever find that second copy of that writing book?
I kind of think I did. But then I don't know what I did with it. I know one is right over here, and I really should break that out. I keep looking over here because I get this bookshelf. I'm like, God, I could have swore I put it over there. I know it's not there. I looked like 15 times, but it's a book on writing Western. I don't know if it was the Pinkertons took all my cards. I almost worked for the Pinkertons, guys.
I would have nothing to do with you if you ever worked for that organization.
No, I didn't. I was really close, but I wanted, believe it or not, the darker, dirtier, grittier side of that profession, and no.
Pinkertons are a real evil organization.
Yeah, and I suspect they always have been, to be honest.
They always have been.
And I can see how.
If you look at some of the things that happened in company towns, and they were part of enforcing that structure,
They can't have any of my
That's
anything,
basically
Grandma.
what they started out as, strike breakers and bounty
Well,
hunters.
also town enforcers, right? And
Believe it or not, from what
really
I
dark
heard,
things.
yeah, a lot of blackmail, a lot of blackmail.
Yeah, you don't know what would happen to the widows of guys who died in corporate mines.
Yeah, they were the ones that machine gunned the workers during the Homestead strike.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
they were some dark dudes.
your army came in and helped them do that when the homesteaders were getting the upper hand. Not good.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
But we don't have it much better up here. We have similar things, but still, the fact that organization is allowed to still exist is disgusting.
I don't know whatever happened to Raven. I guess the
The
cat's
cat
got her.
finally ate her. Yeah, Jinx.
Ah,
And I also called Jinx first. We both said Raven at the same time.
yeah, yeah. I got you a couple last night, or was it the night before?
What?
Thursday.
I don't know. Thursday?
Yeah, I got you.
Thursday?
Well, we keep going back and forth. We've been hanging out so much that we're
Yeah.
thinking a lot alike, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's got to
Bad.
be a bad thing, right, folks?
Bad. Yeah. Well, good for you. Bad for me.
I was thinking the same thing, bitch.
Those fighting words. Wussy.
So
Oh.
yeah,
Holograms are cool and annoying.
yeah.
I think
Actually, Sean, I'm gonna have to edit it to say hologram and transporter technology because somehow they're inextricably linked in all of our nerd minds. And which one of us is the hologram? It's clearly got to be me. I can't possibly be real. Although
he's got those fancy lights behind him.
oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about this guy down here. He's awful quiet. Maybe
Yeah.
he's just the master programmer, just watching his puppet dance.
I'm reporting you all to the Pinkertons.
Reporting us to the Pinkertons. Well, I'm a hologram. The worst they can do is just shut me off. And at some point in the future, someone will shut me back on, and they'll be like, "Oh wow."
We'll turn you back on. Pinkertons can show up at my door. They won't like it.
Yeah, just shut the door. They're not cops. There's 5 lights.
There are 5
Right.
lights.
Yeah, that one was kind of what's the word I want to use? That was really dark episode.
But Jellicoe was right. Captain Jellicoe
Mhm.
was right. I don't care what you say. That was the guy that replaced Picard in that episode on the Enterprise. Now, also, why the fuck would they send a starship captain to do acts of espionage?
Yeah, an old dude too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have specialists.
Their holographic projectors. Oh, Law Dog, you figured me out, man. I thought, man, giving out my secrets, man. I thought we were bros. Welcome to the show, Law Dog.
I mean, aren't those exactly the jobs that Section 31 exists to do?
Exactly.
Yeah, I always wondered why they did stupid crap like that. Having these starship captains do anything other than stay on ship.
Well, it's main characterism, right? It's like you got your main character. It's like and no balls to actually tell the actors. No, you're a starship captain. The away team guy will go onto the planet, and we will kill them all and replace them with new actors next week.
Another
Yeah,
thing
that was
really
them not doing that was what made me leave Star Trek. It was the Borg episode when they ran that spike through Geordi's head. I'm like, I'm out.
that speaking
Right, that's right through
engineers in Star
his
Trek,
head.
they're always going on these huge, big technical diatribes to like the bridge officers. These guys are line officers. They're lucky they can tie their shoes. They're not going to know what the hell you're babbling about. Make ship go. That's all they want to hear.
Well, it's supposed to be a more enlightened and educated future, but still, you're right.
And what's with the reverse?
You never heard Jellicoe saying anything about needing technical diagrams. He just told people to get to work and do their job. That's why he was the better captain.
Right, red shirts away. I honestly thought that to
Well,
uh,
that's why they put Picard in a red shirt for the new series.
I always thought that someone like Worf, or even to a lesser extent Tasha Yar, should have been the guy or the gal that was like with the crew first on the planet.
Not even in that case, because those people led the department. You don't send the fucking department leader to do end of the spear shit.
Yeah.
You spend the guy at the bottom of the stack.
You know what I mean? Somebody in like that department, or a bunch of
Yeah.
those guys. The
The security staff plus maybe a couple of science experts.
Yeah, the minesweepers.
Well said, Sean. Star Trek is about the philosophical explorations, which is why we accept certain lapses in logic. Modern Trek is all a lapse in logic without the philosophy, which is why it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's become a mockery of itself, and it like even when it did the philosophical stuff, it was like, dude, bro, stoicism, not actual stoicism. You know?
Scotty would say he'll make the engines go faster even if he has to nurse them himself. And Grandma follows up with Modern Trek, a bad mushroom trip. Yeah. Although I would know nothing about bad mushroom trips.
Yeah, your expertise is clearly in coke and blow, or coke and hookers, blow and hookers.
And meth.
Some meth.
Don't forget, the supposed meth lab. Don't do drugs, kids. They're awful.
Yeah. The meth lab. Oh yeah, the meth lab under the stairs for methane.
Right.
You don't
The only
use
thing
that.
under the
You
stairs
just
are my
get-
comic books. That's how much of a nerd I
You
am.
don't use that meth. You just use that to get a date for poor young Jackie there.
I don't know, man. That boy needs to go out and mingle. Just saying.
Yeah.
Although there are a
Not
couple
just
girls,
with methane.
not just with Anthony, right? No, there are a couple of girls in his D&D game. Unfortunately, one of them couldn't make it last week, but he's already said he will have nothing to do with the California girl, which is a shame because back in the day, California girls were awesome. I don't know what happened, but
Well,
Some video I was watching made an interesting comment about the new Star Treks. Is that the people writing it are all people who grew up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not Star Trek, and that's kind of what they're drawing from. And it rings true.
yeah, but Buffy was a better show.
Well, no one said they had any talent.
I would
But,
never
mean,
get
just the whole everything's these weird emotional like dialogues, and people were having like meltdowns. Those
That
people
didn't
get
happen that
hired
much
for
in Buffy.
jobs like that. Like if you listen to the recordings, the Apollo 13 recordings when the disaster is going on, if you were just listening to that in the background and weren't listening to what they're saying, you'd never think anything was wrong. They're totally dead and calm about everything because those are the kind of people you give those jobs to.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have these like flakes and like emotional train wrecks on a starship. You would get weeded out so long before you ever made it to that point.
That was the whole thing with Barkley, right? Like people were wondering why he was there and not weeded out. And then eventually he got weeded out. He got sent back to some station to work on a project far away from ships, right?
Yeah, and to an extent, it was excused just because he was utterly brilliant, and he kind of like made up for these shortcomings. But yeah, eventually they're like, "You're better off here."
And he was a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
You know, he really was one of the better actors on the show. The episode
all,
where his
like
brain got all
episodes
big
yeah.
was absolutely amazing. You know, literally one of my favorite episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I have not watched a single moment of Picard, Sean. But I have hardly watched anything. The only thing I've actually watched in the last couple of years has been the first 3 or 4 episodes of Fallout, and uh, I'm enjoying it. It hasn't done anything that I've, you know, disproved of or disliked.
Sean, man, the link is in Shadow's Discord under
General.
It's probably the most recent thing there.
And I did fix all that stuff. Justin, I reorganized everything. You know, the main things are, you know, they don't need to be in any order, but all the bright sea stuff is now down at the bottom, making it easier. Hopefully, it'll.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, if you go to a blank spot and hit a right click, it'll give you the option to create a tab to put them in like a sort of folder.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look around. I thought you were just talking about that, but yeah, I could do that. But I think most of the other things are kind of.
And Bubba's out there. I haven't seen Bubba since yesterday.
Bubba's where?
He just popped up in chat.
Oh, there he is. Fallout was decent. Yeah. The ass jerky, that was funny. This ass jerky ain't going to make itself. Yeah. That's just nasty, but freaking hysterical and very, you know, well written.
True.
I guess that line.
I've only seen the first episode of that so far. I keep meaning to go back to it, but
me and the boys are watching it. We're enjoying it. It was that episode with the ass jerky was a little dark, but
it's the apocalypse, bro.
No, I meant the you know the whole selling the girl kind of thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, I get it. You're trying to show just how dark and, you know, messed up this guy is, but I did like the fact that they turned it around and you know, she, you know, held the higher ground at the end kind of thing. That was cute and uplifting. But, you know, I know what I'm getting myself into. It's, you know, I've been doing post-apocalyptic stuff for the better part of a month and a half now. I know. Doesn't Dark Trek sound interesting? You know, going in and exploring the worst of it. Not necessarily the mirror. Although if someone was running a mirror campaign, sign me up. Yeah, it was funny as a kid watching that particular episode. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best. This is the best Trek. You know, not because it was so dark and ugly, but because it was like the whole alternate universe thing. I as much as I don't believe in that, you know, in the circles that believe those things are real, I don't. But I think it's
good to explore for TV.
It's a great tool to use to explore, you know, the same characters. Although when they did with the X-Men, I was out. It was the last X-Men comic book I bought when they did that whole year of the Dark X-Men, you know, alternate universe. I'm like, hey, I want the X-Men I was buying, and now suddenly you just decided I can't read that anymore. And if I want to keep buying X-Men, it's here, this new shit. Just an excuse to hook Jean Grey and Wolverine together. Didn't buy that for a second. I was just.
I'll be a minute.
Okay. The Fallout show aligns with the reality of the Fallout games and works as a continuation of the world. The heightened reality of a video game, silly stories and side quests, etc. You know, I'm trying to find a way to play some of the Fallout games, but I won't play a PC game because I'll never get the opportunity, and two,
yeah, if you do the Bethesda games are definitely worth skipping. The first two, the isometric ones, and New Vegas, are really the ones worth playing. Bethesda has just basically shit on that IP since they've owned it. I mean, they got like the iconography like right, but that's basically all they have going on.
The Klingons destroying the Federation sounds great, huh? Right. See, I was hoping to, Sean. I was hoping to. My friend Armstrong said that the best games were 2, 4, and New Vegas. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I could get behind, a 3-game arc, of exploring a quasi Gamma World ish, RPG game thing, and 2 is only on PC, uh, and that only leaves me, I guess, with 4 and New Vegas. New Vegas is available for one of the consoles we have, but I haven't looked into 4.
Yeah,
And everybody says how good New
best.
Vegas is, but it's like, well, if it's the only one that I'm actually gonna get to play, I'm okay with that. But I want to look tonight
It's the best. It's the best of all the games.
Yeah,
Definitely, hands down. Because it's basically the guys who made the first 2 and getting to do it in a better engine. Well, better, relatively speaking. It was the Bethesda engine. But
Grandma, you take care. You've been a rock star all day. You deserve a good rest.
later,
I will see you later on down the road.
feel better.
Say hi to the fam for us. You take care. What's up, Anon? Addicted to AI has inspired me to reboot my Uncivil Wars series. Don't poo-poo AI image generators and chat GPT. Okay, I've never heard of Uncivil Wars. Sounds like something Jackie would actually love. He's playing a bunch of like war simulation games. I'm more of a just an RPG guy. Just give me one guy. Every time I've tried to play any of those, what was it like Warcraft and things like that. Just I just couldn't get into them as much as everybody else, especially like StarCraft. I thought, oh, this is going to be great, and no, just so much crap starts going on that I'm like,
I played that once. I thought it was just too confusing and chaotic, and it was just like, this ain't for me.
Yeah, the learning curve is steep, and the actual play value. I could see it being more fun against another person. One, they're going to think slower and not just automatically just freaking steamroll you because it knows what it's doing better than any human ever could. You have I have free stuff on Lulu. Look for ES Taylor. Oh, can you send me a link on? Are you hooked up on Discord with me? Well, I can just write it down my notebook. That's what I got it for, was to take show notes. Because I'm learning so much from you guys.
What are you learning?
We're talking about Uncivil War series.
The Uncivil War. That's from one of the X-Men comics?
No, I think it's some stuff over on Lulu. Am I getting that right? Free PDFs. Oh, and I think that's stuff he's written.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he has stuff. Look for E.S. Taylor. Sorry, I was confusing that. Anon has some free PDFs on Lulu. Look for E.S. Taylor. Dude, this is the place you are perfectly allowed to do that sort of thing. Even if you're actually selling something, as long as it isn't bridges or swampland or anything illegal or
Except for blowing hookers, we do
Yeah.
we do worship the art of High Gygaxian.
But yeah, if you want to come on and show your stuff, you know, why not, right? How many of us have already done that? Oh yeah, almost all of us at one time or another. I think I'm the only one who hasn't. I just show other people's stuff because I haven't written shit because I'm retarded.
Well, we do have that the Friday afternoon writing chat that's supposed to encourage you to write some short stories or
Yep.
even a novel.
I'll get there.
Maybe a game scenario or two.
Mhm. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff that's been kind of banging on the door to get out, and I'm real fond of that Japanese saying. If you write a book, plant a tree, and have a son, you're immortal. Uh, that's close as I'm going to get, and I've done 2 out of 3, uh, maybe a couple of more than once that I may not be aware of, if you know what I'm talking about. But uh,
Hopefully, in my youth, that happened because
no, I've planted several trees, and I actually wrote something, um, but it never got published because the guy I what I did was I took 2 games and combined them into one for an associate of mine, not really a friend, saying, "Here, this is yours now. Do whatever you want with it." And he didn't even bother to open it. Said, "I do not read unsolicited." Blah 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 blah. Like, whoa, dude. Okay, it was just giving you something, you know.
well, if
Eh,
if he didn't publish it, it's still yours.
right, but no.
He
But the
said
thing is
did
he
not
then
open
went on to
unsolicited.
he then went on to use without permission another friend of mine's works and tried to publish them. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever.
Well, what
That's
I'm saying is, if you still have that, you still own it.
it's still full of other people's copyrights that I would never even dream of.
Just change it. You can't copyright a rule system, so you just have to
Right,
change
right.
the
Well, the
verbiage.
imagery. You know what? I should talk to Michael. I bet since he technically owns that and not the game name, I could probably get away with it.
Change the name, and you can always change the art. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's
uh,
true. And I did use this is funny. The main like in one of the fluff text intro
mhm.
parts. Oh, okay, mages. You have a great
Party
day.
on, man.
We'll see you. Let me know when you get that, and kick some ass at the game table next week. Um, I
Mhm.
I used Jackson's name before Jackson was born because I always planned on naming my first son Jackson. So as proof, I used his name in the fluff text of the thing I wrote way before he was born. And I gotta go find that, and talk to my friend Mike and see what we could do. It was just a goofy little miniature game based on another goofy miniature game from the 80s, trying to turn it into something a little bit bigger, but you know, I've got bigger and better, more valid ideas, uh,
Mhm.
trying to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, also, if you have not subscribed to Mage's Musings, one of the best channels out there. It's
Okay.
more original than any other channel I can think of uh, when it comes to just pure uh, love and appreciation of a certain game. Well, Dungeons and Dragons, and
You have
hey,
blasphemed against Gygax.
Maybe. I
maybe.
never said I wasn't a
What's he
heretic.
gonna do? Send a pit fiend my way? Bring it.
Beam
You know.
up.
Yeah, it's gonna get up here and it's gonna be a coked out whore anyway.
Well, okay, so a succubus then.
Yeah.
Pardon all of those puns.
Bow, bow, bow. Shadow wouldn't know what to
Yes,
do with one of those because it would be female, and he doesn't film that kind of stuff.
that's just dumb. Yes, the Dungeon Minister is one of the greats. I love that guy's channel too.
Mm.
Okay.
I keep meaning to check out his channel.
And
Actually,
Gary loved the ladies. Yes, he did. Can't say as a blame him. Hold on a second. I'm going.
He's on muted, but we're still following him to the bathroom. And I might be taking off in a bit.
Yeah, I need to get going soon myself. It is getting late.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do that now. Oh man, it's nice out here. Yeah, I told the boys that we would watch another episode of Fallout and play some Gauntlet. So let's just end it here and say goodnight to everybody out there in TV land. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your summer vacation, those of you that have one. And if not, at least get some. Yeah, I'm ghost hunting again. Go get some gaming in there. Anon, look me up on Discord, Shadow and Sun, just like, I think it's all one word though, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Party on, everyone.
You guys have a great weekend.
To each other.
I will see you tomorrow, Justin. Doc, have a great weekend. Say hi to the fam for us. Happy trails, everybody.